What is matter? The Buddha's view will blow your mind, according to the Abhidhamma. In the silence of early dawn, when the mind grows still and the senses rest, if one looks deeply enough, beyond the flicker of light and shadow, there is something wondrous to be seen. The Buddha called it Rupa, the realm of matter, the visible and the invisible, the tangible and the subtle foundation of all that appears. For the ordinary eye, the world is solid. Mountains stand unmoved. The ocean seems vast. The body feels permanent and real. But through the Abhidhamma eye, the Buddha revealed a deeper truth. Everything that seems solid is nothing but vibrations of arising and vanishing, ceaselessly born and gone within trillionths of a second. This is the unseen miracle of existence. Matter is not a static thing. It is a process, a wave, a conditioned event woven by karma, action, temperature, mind, and nutriment. It is not your body, nor my body, but a continuous stream of natural phenomena, like bubbles appearing and bursting on the surface of a river. To understand Rupa, one must go beyond science and logic, into direct knowing, the wisdom of insight. The Abhidhamma Pitaka, the Buddha's supreme analytical teaching, opens this hidden world, how matter arises, how it fades, how it combines into Kalapas, minute clusters, and how consciousness and matter coexist in an intricate dance of mutual conditioning. When the Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, he saw the world not as men or women, gods or animals, but as mind and matter, Namarupa, conditioned by causes and effects, rolling on without a beginning. In that vision, the illusion of I and mind dissolved. What remained was pure knowing, seeing things as they truly are. You will see that what we call body is not a solid mass, but billions of energy events flashing in and out of existence. You will see how the four great elements, Mahabhuta Rupa, earth, water, fire, and air, give rise to all visible and invisible forms, and how the derived forms, Upadaya Rupas, shape perception, color, sound, and life itself. When this truth is seen clearly, something within you shifts forever. You no longer hold the body as me. You no longer cling to beauty or youth. You begin to feel the breath of impermanence, gentle, liberating, and infinite. This is not a philosophy. It is the Dhamma of experience. It is the light that shows what the universe truly is. A dance of energy, a rhythm of law, a symphony of cause and effect. Utterly impersonal, perfectly just, and profoundly peaceful. May this video be your window into that light, to see what the Buddha saw, to know what he knew, to walk the path of seeing reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. Chapter 1. The Hidden Dance of Matter. Seeing the World Beyond the Surface. Rupam Aniccham, Rupam Dukkam, Rupam Anatha. Form is impermanent, form is suffering, form is non-self. When the Buddha attained enlightenment beneath the Bodhi tree, he saw not only the causes of suffering, but also the true nature of existence, both mental and material. He saw how matter, Rupa, arises through four great elements, Mahabhuta, and their derived forms, Upadaya Rupa, how these arise moment by moment according to conditions, and how they perish at lightning speed. He realized that what we call this body, this mountain, or this world is nothing more than a pattern of energy arising from karma, past actions, consciousness, temperature, and nutriment. The Abhidhamma explains, matter means the four great essentials and the material qualities derived from them. These four are Pathavi Dhathu, the element of hardness or extension; Apo Dhathu, the element of cohesion or fluidity; Tejo Dhathu, the element of heat or temperature; Vayo Dhathu, the element of motion or vibration. All visible form, from the smallest dust to the human body, is made up of these four, constantly combining, separating, and transforming. The Buddha's view of matter is not like the modern atomic model, yet far deeper. While physics describes matter as energy, The Abhidhamma reveals it as conditioned reality, a paramatha Dhamma, arising through specific causes and ceasing without control. The nature of Rupa, the unseen waves beneath form. In the Abhidhamma, Rupa is defined as that which is subject to decay and cannot know its object. It is inert, non-conscious, but it forms the base or support for consciousness and mental factors. Matter arises in tiny clusters called Rupa-Kalapas, each smaller than the smallest atom imagined by science. A Rupa-Kalapa may consist of 8, 9, 10, or more Rupas grouped together, depending on the conditions. Each cluster lasts for just 17 thought moments, Shithakana, after which it completely perishes. This means your entire body, the mountain, the air you breathe, are all disintegrating and reforming billions of times in a blink of an eye. In the Dhamma Sangani, the Buddha describes matter not as things, but as characteristics of experience. It does not exist as an independent entity, but as a set of properties that are experienced and conditioned. Thus, Rupa has its own sabhava lakkhana, its intrinsic nature, but this nature itself is impermanent and non-self. The four causes of matter. According to the Abhidhamma, Rupa arises through four main causes. 1. Kama, past volitional action. Some parts of the body arise due to the power of past moral or immoral deeds, such as the sense organs, eye, ear, etc., and the heart base. 2nd, Chitta, consciousness. Some Rupas arise depending on the mind, like bodily gestures, speech, or expressions that respond to thought. 3. Uthu, temperature or heat energy. This refers to material phenomena produced by climatic or bodily heat, like growth, aging, or decay. 4. Ahara, nutriment. Material food sustains and produces matter inside the body, giving rise to new forms of Rupa. These four work together ceaselessly, like four musicians playing in harmony. The living body is nothing more than a flow of matter produced by these four conditions, each moment replacing the last. So what you call I or my body is only a temporary arrangement of energies, karmic, mental, thermal, and nutritional, which rise and fall without an owner. The smallest building block, the Rupa-Kalapa. In meditation, advanced meditators can perceive that what appears as solid is actually made of Rupa-Kalapas, tiny groups of material qualities. Each Kalapa is the size of a minute particle that flickers in and out of existence at tremendous speed. A basic Rupa-Kalapa contains the four great essentials, earth, water, fire, air elements, and four derivatives, color, smell, taste, and nutriment. Thus, each tiny particle of your body, of everything, carries within it the essence of solidity, cohesion, heat, motion, color, smell, taste, and the power of sustenance. But these kalapas are not stable. They arise and vanish at the rate of billions of times per second. When your insight becomes refined, you no longer see a continuous body or object. Only vibrations, flickering fields of energy that rise and pass away like a cosmic breath. The stream of Rupa, the illusion of continuity. Why then do we perceive continuity? Why does the world appear stable if everything is flashing in and out of existence? Because the mind, nama, connects these flashes into a continuous image, just like a movie projector makes still frames appear as moving pictures. The human mind, operating through perception, creates the illusion of continuity. But in ultimate truth, paramathasascha, nothing persists for even a blink of an eye. A river which seems the same but is never made of the same water twice. A flame which appears continuous but is in fact new at every instant. A lightning flash, bright yet momentary. The entire physical universe is like this. A play of causes and conditions, rising and vanishing ceaselessly, empty of self, empty of permanence. Modern science now tells us that matter is mostly empty space, composed of vibrating energy fields. The Buddha said the same over 2,500 years ago, not through machines, but through direct insight, vipassana jnana. He taught that Rupa is not something we can cling to as mine or me. Its nature is to arise and fall under causes without control. Therefore, attachment to form, whether body, possessions, or beauty, inevitably leads to suffering. Whatever is of the nature to arise, that too is of the nature to cease. To truly understand Rupa is to see the emptiness of matter, that there is no permanent body, no solid world, no unchanging form, only flickering vibrations in the ocean of dependent origination, paticca. The purpose of understanding Rupa. The Buddha did not teach this to make us scientists of subtle elements, but to free us from the illusion of self. When you see that your body is merely a process, arising through conditions, decaying through conditions, you begin to let go of clinging. You see that pain, pleasure, youth, and age are not happening to me, but simply happenings within the flow of conditioned phenomena. Seeing Rupa as impermanent, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta, becomes a foundation of vipassana insight. When mindfulness penetrates the form aggregate, the attachment to the physical self weakens, and wisdom begins to bloom. A glimpse into the invisible world. Through deep meditation, some meditators can see Rupa directly, as flickering particles, waves, or fields of energy, each rising and vanishing like a rhythm of the universe. They realize that even at the atomic or subatomic level, matter has no essence, no thingness. To realize this is to see the emptiness of the physical world and the freedom from delusion. This is not a poetic image. It is a direct truth that can be verified by wisdom. When the mind becomes still and concentrated, the dance of Rupa reveals itself. And once seen, the illusion of self begins to dissolve, like mist before the sun. Chapter 2. The Four Great Elements. Mahabhuta. The invisible forces behind all matter. Let's look at each of the four in the way the Buddha described them. 1. Pathavidhathu, the earth element. This is the element of solidity, hardness, and support. It is the quality that gives structure, form, and resistance. In your body, it is felt as bones, muscles, flesh, nails, teeth, everything that offers shape and firmness. But it also exists in subtle ways. The solidity of atoms, the firmness of air pressure, even the resistance that holds energy in patterns. The Patav Dhatu does not mean earth as soil. It is the characteristic of resistance and extension, that which occupies space and gives a sense of body. In meditation, when one contemplates the earth element, the mind begins to feel the heavy, resistant, grounding nature of the body. One realizes that this is not me, but just the earth element, shared with all beings, returning to earth at death. Just as a lump of clay, when broken, returns to the ground, so too this body, composed of the earth element, will return to the earth. The earth element is everywhere, in the strength of a rock, in the firmness of your skin, even in the stability of thought itself, when the mind feels grounded. Yet all of it arises and perishes moment by moment without a self. 2nd, Apadhatu, the water element. This is the element of cohesion and binding. It is what holds the particles of matter together, giving them unity and fluidity. In your body, it is the blood, lymph, saliva, and all the fluids that keep tissues connected. But the Buddha did not limit this to liquid substances. It is the principle of cohesion. Without it, all the other elements would scatter into chaos. The Apo Dhatu has the function of flowing and holding together. It cannot be directly felt by touch, as hardness can, but its effect is perceived when matter clings or holds, like the smoothness of skin, the wetness of water, or the unity of a form. In meditation, when one discerns the water element, one begins to feel the smooth, flowing, and connecting aspect of matter. The meditator realizes that it too is not I, but merely a quality, not self, not soul, not owner. As a bubble upon the water breaks and vanishes, so too the cohesion of form is fleeting and void. Abhidhamma Commentary. 3. Tejo Dhatu, the fire or heat element. This element represents temperature, energy, and transformation. It is the heat that warms, the cold that chills, the process that ripens, ages, and decays. In your body, it manifests as body heat, metabolic energy, digestion, and the life-sustaining warmth of cellular processes. The Buddha saw that this element is not mere flame, but the quality of energy and temperature that drives all change, birth, growth, decay, and death. It gives rise to the entire process of aging and transformation. Jaratha. Every moment of your life, the Tejo Dhatu is at work, burning, ripening, transforming every cell and form. Without the fire element, there could be no metabolism, no growth, no movement. Yet too much of it, and all form perishes. In deep meditation, when the mind isolates the Tejo Dhatu, it perceives the vibration of warmth and energy, neither good nor bad, merely the nature of transformation. The meditator begins to feel that all forms are burning, ripening, and dissolving, every moment a flicker in the flame of impermanence. 4. Vayo Dhatu, the air or motion element. This is the element of motion, vibration, and pressure. It is the force that causes expansion, contraction, and movement. In your body, it appears as the breath, the heartbeat, the circulation of blood, the movements of muscles and nerves. In nature, it is the wind, the flowing rivers, the swaying of trees, the orbiting of planets. The Vayo Dhatu is the dynamic element, the principle of kinetic life. It has the function of supporting and pushing, making all forms alive and mobile. The Abhidhamma describes its characteristic as supporting or distending, its function as causing motion, and its manifestation as vibration. When seen through insight, this element is not air in a physical sense, but the inner pulse of movement that keeps all form from stillness. It is because of this element that the body breathes, that blood flows, and that the universe dances. The harmony of the four. These four great elements are not separate or isolated. Every particle of matter, every Rupa-Kalapa, contains all four in inseparable harmony. Without any one of them, matter cannot exist. The Buddha used the simile of a chariot. Though we call it one thing, it is only a combination of wheels, axle, yoke, and frame. So too, matter is only a combination of these four dynamic principles, without a soul, without essence. The four elements within the body. The Buddha often instructed his disciples to contemplate the body in terms of these four elements. You no longer see my hand or my face, but hardness, cohesion, warmth, and motion, all impersonal, all impermanent. This contemplation, dhatu manasikara, is a doorway to insight. It helps dissolve conceit and identification with the body. You no longer cling to it as me or mine. When you see that all form is just the play of these elements, you no longer fear death, for what dies is only the dissolution of these processes. This is the gateway to vipassana insight, the clear seeing of phenomena as they are. Chapter 3, the 24 derived rupas, upadaya rupa, the hidden qualities of matter beyond the elements. From the four great elements, all form is derived. Abhidhamma Sangaha, the silent symphony of derived forms. In the previous chapter, we explored the four great elements, the invisible forces that underlie all matter, solidity, cohesion, heat, and motion. But the Buddha also taught that from these four arise 24 subtle material phenomena called the upadaya rupas. Those derived from or, dependent upon the four great elements. These 24 rupas make up the visible, tangible, and functional world we experience. They are not independent, but expressions or manifestations of the four great elements acting together in various proportions. The term upadaya rupa means derived by dependence. This dependence is twofold: causal dependence. Each derived rupa arises because of the four great elements. Structural dependence. Each exists within a cluster, Rupa-Kalapa, that always contains the four great elements as its foundation. Without the elements, no derived form could appear, just as no fragrance can exist without a flower. Hence, they are called upadaya, dependent forms. The classification of the 24 derived rupas. According to the Abhidhamma and Visuddhimagga, the 24 derived rupas can be grouped by their functions as follows. Sense objects. 1. Vana, color or visible form. 2. Sada, sound. 3. Gandha, odor or smell. 4. Rasa, taste. 5. Oja, nutriment or nutritive essence. Sensitive bases. 6. Chakupasada, eye sensitivity. 7. Sotapasada, ear sensitivity. 8. Ganapasada, nose sensitivity. 9th Jivapasada, tongue sensitivity. 10. Kayapasada, body sensitivity. Life. 11. Jivita Rupa, life faculty. 12. Itibhava Rupa, femininity faculty. 13. Pumbhava Rupa, masculinity faculty, heart base. 14. Hadayavatu, heart base of consciousness. Material indications. 15. Kaya Vinyati, bodily intimation, gestures. 16. Vachi Vinyati, verbal intimation, speech movement. Mutability qualities. 17. Lahutha, lightness. 18. Mudutha, softness or pliancy. 19. Kamanyatha, adaptability or wieldiness. Material characteristics. 20. Upachaya, production, growth. 21st, Santathai. Continuity. 22. Jaratha, decay or aging. 23rd. Chatha, impermanence or dissolution. Material space. 24. Akasadathu, space element, matter's delimitation. Now, as we close this journey through the Buddha's view of matter, let us return to stillness, to the silence behind all forms, the quiet after the last vibration fades. We began by asking, what is matter? We end by realizing that matter is nothing but change, impermanent, soulless, beyond control. Every atom, every cell, every sensation arises due to causes and vanishes due to causes. The body is not a being, it is a borrowed collection of rupa, sustained by the four great elements dependent on food, mind, and temperature. When these conditions dissolve, the collection breaks apart, and what we called I disappears like dew in the morning sun. But do not be saddened by this truth. It is the door to liberation. For when you see that nothing is truly mine, you are free from fear. When you see that the body is but a flickering stream, you stop clinging to form. When you see that Rupa is Dhamma, arising and ceasing by law, you begin to taste Nibbana, the peace beyond arising and ceasing. The Buddha's teaching of Rupa is not to fascinate the intellect, but to awaken wisdom, to turn the gaze inward, to see the very body you live in as it truly is. Not a self, not an owner, not a being, just nature knowing nature. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your body breathing. Now realize this is not you breathing. This is the air element moving, the fire element maintaining warmth, the earth element giving firmness, the water element binding tissues together. These are not yours, they are the world's. And when the causes end, they return to the world again. This is the Buddha's gift, to show us that matter is not what it seems, to show us that behind every form there is formless peace, and when that is known, the world, though it still dances, can no longer deceive you. May this understanding deepen in your heart. May wisdom rise, delusion fade, and peace unfold. until all vibrations cease and only the unconditioned remains.